In a world that constantly promises greater, more immediate sources of pleasure, whether through social media, material possessions, or fleeting experiences, one might wonder, what does it truly mean to live a pleasurable life? We live in an age where happiness is often equated with external achievements and instant gratification. Yet, more than 2 millennia ago, the philosopher Epicurus redefined pleasure in a way that stands in stark contrast to today's common understanding. Epicurus, the ancient Greek philosopher, believed that pleasure is the highest good and the ultimate goal of life. However, his notion of pleasure was not about indulging in excess or mindless hedonism. Rather, it was about the cultivation of peace of mind, the absence of pain, and the cultivation of modest pleasures. In a time when our lives are often driven by consumerism, digital distractions, and societal pressures to maximize happiness, Epicurus offers us a radically different approach to understanding the nature of pleasure and happiness. In this essay, we will explore how Epicurus redefines the concept of pleasure, why his understanding contrasts sharply with the modern idea of happiness, and how his philosophy remains relevant to contemporary lives seeking true fulfillment and contentment. Before we dive deeper into Epicurean philosophy, I want to welcome you to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel. Here, we explore timeless wisdom from the world's greatest philosophers and thinkers to help us navigate the complexities of modern life. If you're looking to understand ancient philosophies and how they can improve your mindset, daily life, and sense of purpose, you're in the right place. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an exploration of powerful ideas that can enhance your well-being, inner peace, and growth. Let's embark on this journey to uncover the wisdom of Epicurus together. Epicurus, the founder of Epicureanism, is often misunderstood as promoting a philosophy of indulgence, where pleasure is sought through overindulgence in food, drink, or physical pleasure. However, this interpretation is far from what he actually advocated. For Epicurus, pleasure was not about the immediate or fleeting satisfaction of the senses, but rather the absence of pain and the cultivation of tranquility. At the core of his philosophy is the pleasure principle, but Epicurus's approach is more nuanced than simply maximizing pleasure. He defined pleasure as the natural state of being, the absence of pain, ataraxia, and bodily discomfort, aponia. In this sense, happiness, for Epicurus, was not derived from indulgence or external sources, but from the elimination of physical and mental suffering. Epicurus argued that pleasure is achieved by living a simple life, focusing on modest, everyday pleasures, and cultivating good relationships. In stark contrast to today's obsession with material accumulation and constant seeking of more, Epicurus teaches that true pleasure comes from understanding our desires, recognizing which are natural and necessary, and minimizing the ones that cause pain, anxiety, or dissatisfaction. This is encapsulated in his famous assertion. It is not so much our abundance of pleasures that makes us happy, but our ability to distinguish between necessary and unnecessary desires, and satisfy the first while keeping the second in check. The 3 types of desires: natural, necessary, and vain. Epicurus's approach to pleasure is organized around the understanding of different types of desires. These desires fall into 3 categories: natural and necessary desires. These are basic needs, such as food, water, shelter, and friendship. These desires, when fulfilled, lead to pleasure because they alleviate discomfort and contribute to a peaceful, simple life. For Epicurus, the pursuit of these desires was the foundation of happiness. They are essential for living in harmony with nature and creating a stable, tranquil existence. Natural but unnecessary desires. These desires are not harmful in themselves, but are not essential for a fulfilling life. Examples might include gourmet food, luxury items, or extravagant experiences. While they can bring pleasure, they are not necessary for happiness and often lead to greater anxiety, dissatisfaction, or a sense of lack when they are not met. Epicurus believed that we should minimize these desires and learn to live without them. Vain and empty desires. These are desires that arise from societal pressure, vanity, with a misguided belief that acquiring external goods, status, or power will lead to happiness. Epicurus warned against these desires, as they only lead to pain and unrest. They stem from illusions and create unnecessary suffering, often leading us to pursue what we don't need at the cost of what truly fulfills us. Epicurus's classification of desires is a critique of the modern obsession with more. More wealth, more recognition, more possessions. Today's society often encourages the pursuit of excessive, non-essential desires, which can create a cycle of dissatisfaction, leading to a constant desire for something more without ever reaching fulfillment. Epicurus teaches us to reassess our needs, recognize the difference between essential desires and vain ambitions, and focus on fulfilling the former. Modern understandings of happiness are often tied to external achievements, experiences, or possessions. In many cultures, happiness is associated with wealth, status, success, and the constant pursuit of pleasure through indulgence. In today's world, happiness is often viewed as something external that can be attained through consumerism, career success, or seeking more of what we don't yet have. Social media, for instance, plays a significant role in this pursuit of happiness. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok often promote lifestyles of constant adventure, material success, and social recognition, which many people then aspire to replicate. This creates a model of happiness that is often tied to comparison, competition, and external validation, ideas that align with the pursuit of vain desires, as Epicurus would argue. Moreover, modern psychology and wellness culture emphasize positive thinking, self-optimization, and a constant striving for peak happiness. While these efforts can be beneficial, they may inadvertently promote an idealized and unattainable form of happiness based on unrealistic expectations or constant self-improvement. Epicurus's notion of happiness, on the other hand, focuses on inner peace and the cultivation of contentment through the elimination of unnecessary desires. For him, happiness was not about maximizing pleasure or material success, but about achieving ataraxia, a state of mental serenity and calm, through the mastery of one's desires. Rather than striving for a constant, often fleeting, sense of happiness through material or sensory indulgence, Epicurus teaches us that happiness arises from cultivating self-awareness, moderation, and wisdom in our pursuit of pleasure. By focusing on what is truly necessary and beneficial, we can create a life that is genuinely fulfilling and free from the stresses and anxieties that come from chasing after vain desires. In an age where people are often overworked, overstimulated, and overconsumed by material pursuits, Epicurus's teachings offer a refreshing alternative. His philosophy encourages us to take a step back from the hustle of modern life and reevaluate our priorities. Are we seeking happiness through fleeting pleasures or through sustainable, simple pleasures that lead to long-term contentment? By following Epicurus's approach, we can embrace a lifestyle that focuses on mental well-being, contentment, and simplicity. The philosophy calls us to embrace moderation, self-control, and thoughtful reflection in our pursuit of pleasure, teaching us to cultivate true happiness that is grounded in self-awareness and personal growth. In contrast to the modern idea of happiness, which often relies on external factors or momentary pleasures, Epicureanism invites us to embrace a life that prioritizes inner peace and emotional balance. It is a path to happiness that is not defined by what we have or how much we experience, but by our ability to cultivate a life of tranquility, free from the constant demands of society's never-ending expectations. Epicurus's philosophy on pleasure offers a profound and refreshing perspective on happiness. Unlike the modern world's obsession with constant achievement and external sources of gratification, Epicurus teaches us that true pleasure is the absence of pain, and that happiness comes from living simply, understanding our needs, and cultivating inner peace. While modern society often defines happiness through consumption, social comparison, and fleeting pleasures, Epicurus encourages us to focus on what is truly necessary for a peaceful and fulfilling life. By rethinking our desires, eliminating unnecessary wants, and focusing on the modest pleasures of life, we can lead lives that are more content, more peaceful, and ultimately, more happy. If you found this exploration of Epicurus's philosophy insightful, don't forget to subscribe to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel. Join us as we continue to explore timeless wisdom from history's great thinkers and how their teachings can help us navigate the complexities of modern life. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the journey toward a more intentional and fulfilling life.